Do you know how much Big Pharma spends advertising and marketing their drugs to you, the consumer? It's called direct-to-consumer advertising. Big Pharma spends billions of dollars every single year trying to get you to purchase their drugs. So logically, if they have billions of dollars to spend on advertisements, wouldn't that mean that they could significantly lower your drug costs and still hit their 23% profit? The FDA announced a sweeping crackdown on deceptive pharmaceutical ads. Thousands of warning letters have gone out, around 100 cease and desist actions already in motion, and a promise to close that 1997 adequate provision loophole that allowed companies to minimize risk disclosures in broadcast ads. What does all this mean? Fewer fine print speed reads, fewer glossy benefit-heavy commercials that bury the side effects in rapid-fire voiceovers while someone's walking on a beach falling in love telling you about a foot fungus cream. But here's why this matters and why we need to watch what happens next. Enforcement had already collapsed. The warning letters dropped to almost zero in recent years. Meanwhile, drug companies were spending billions, up to 25% of their entire budgets on direct-to-consumer advertising. The US and New Zealand are the only countries in the world that even allow this. And social media made it worse. Influencer marketing blurred the lines between authentic experience and paid promotion. A recent review showed that 100% of pharma social media posts highlighted benefits. Only 1/3 mentioned risks. And often those mentions were vague or buried in a caption users had to click to expand. The FDA claims that it's going to demand fair balance between benefits and risks. It says it's going to restore transparency and accountability. That's what we do here. The question isn't whether the announcement sounds strong. It does. The question is follow through. Will enforcement stay consistent beyond this initial wave of excitement? Will influencer disclosures be aggressively monitored? Or will it fall back into self-regulation? Will disease awareness ads, the ones that don't name a big drug but prime you to ask your doctor about symptoms, will they receive closer scrutiny? Because advertising shapes demand, and demand shapes prescribing. When you convince millions of people that they might have a condition that they didn't even know existed, prescriptions absolutely follow. If this crackdown is real, if it's sustained, it could genuinely shift the culture of pharmaceutical marketing. It could make ads more informative and less manipulative. Healthcare depends on trust. Advertisement without balance and regulation completely erodes that trust. The question is follow through. Will enforcement stay strong beyond this initial wave? Will these influencer disclosures be properly monitored, or will it fall back into self-regulation? When you convince millions of people that they might have a disease that they didn't even know existed, prescriptions follow. If this crackdown is real, if it's genuinely sustained, it could really shift the culture of pharmaceutical marketing. It could really make ads more informative and less manipulative. If it's a temporary headline grab that fades after the news cycle moves on, then we're right back at square one. Polished storytelling, speed read symptoms. Advertising without balance or regulation completely erodes that trust. And we're about to find out if this is really reform or just more lip service.